everybody, I'm here to talk to you guys about menstrual cups. Not something that I typically do on the channel, but it took me a long time to even know that this was an option for, women. And so I want to make sure that I do my part so you guys know too. So to tell you, before I get into the menstrual cups that I use, I have to tell you kind of how I started using them. So I grew up in a household that knew nothing about menstrual cups. I was raised understanding that my only option was to use disposable pads, and so that's what I did from the time I started menstruating up until I was about like 25. And for me, what even caused me to start looking like what else is there is I had my first daughter, and I was like, okay, no more surprise pregnancies. So I got an IUD, and I got the copper IUD. And one of the common side effects of that specific IUD, not for everybody, but many people will have a heavier flow. And so that's what happened to me. And it got to a point where my regular pads that I would just use were not like enough anymore. And I was like, I'm not about that tampon life, because I'm not down with toxic shock, so let me see what else is, available. So then I came across the menstrual cups, and I was like, I'm gonna do what with what? I'm gonna put what where? And I was like, maybe no. So then I just kept trying with pads, and it was like not working. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna give this a go. And so then I went online and I bought a DivaCup, and this is like a really popular one. A lot of people use this one, and I remember the first time I used it, like I got it in, and then I couldn't get it out, and I was like panicking. Like I was in the shower trying to get it out. It wasn't coming out. I almost passed out. Like I was like panicking so much. And then like finally, like after like 6 hours, I got it out, and I was like, okay, that's not that bad. Like, did you die? No, Joyce, I didn't die. And so then I did it again, and then after a while, I got used to it, and I figured out how to, insert and remove, and it was fine. After a while, I realized that something strange happened, and that it was like that my urine stream was really weak. And so I did some research, and it's what I found is that this cup can be a little bit firm for some body types, and for me it was firm enough that it was pressing on my bladder. And so I was like, okay, it's not really a huge deal, but it's bothersome enough that I'm gonna look at other options. And that's how I ended up with the Femmycycle. I was like, I don't know about this. There's not any other menstrual cups that look like these, but I'm gonna try it out anyway. And I fell in love because it's super easy to insert and really easy to remove. And so that's what I did, and I used that. And for years, I have been using the Femmycycle, and I loved it. However, something else happened, and the thing that happened was my nails. When you have nails as long as I do, inserting and removing anything from the vaginal area is really not easy. And it was okay, in layman's terms, I was scratching up my vagina, and I was like, no, I can't do this. So I was like, okay, what else is out there? So I pulled out all the before I did that, I was like, what else is out there, because this is not working. And I couldn't find anything. And so I was like, okay, let me see about Team Tampon. And I just didn't like it. When you go from using pads to using menstrual cups and then back to tampons, like it really is a step down. And so I was like, I'm not about Team Tampon. I can't do this. So I pulled out all of the menstrual cups that I have collected over the years, and I was like, one of these gonna work. Because I'm not using a tampon, and I'm definitely not using a pad. And I was like, I got this one over here that I didn't ever really give a chance, and let me see if it works. And so I tried it, and it was the it's the Intimina Cup. It is not actually a cup, it's a menstrual disc. And I tried it, and it worked on the very first time. This is the only like internal menstrual device, I guess, because I don't want to call it a cup, it's a disc. We'll just say cup. It's the only menstrual cup that I've used that worked on the very first try. Like there was no like, let me wiggle this way, let me wiggle that way. Like no, it was like as soon as I put it in, it worked. And I was like, why didn't I use this before? Because I remember when I first got it, I was like, this is extra long. I don't know where this is. This is going to end up in my lungs. Like, I don't know where it's going to go, so I'm not putting it in. But this time, because I really had no other options, I did try it, and it worked the very first time. And I wish I would have done it sooner, because to be honest, I like it more than I like the Femmycycle, which is saying a lot, because I really like the Femmycycle. Like, I really, really like it. But this is, I mean, this is even better than that. Like, literally 0 leaks. Wasn't hard. There wasn't a learning curve for me. For whatever reason, it worked the very first time. Removing it is not painful, but a little tricky. It's because I got these nails. It's a little tricky because I got long nails. But when I say it's a little tricky, like, let's say with no long nails, I can remove it in 1 second. With long nails, trying to remove this, it takes me like 7 seconds. But I'm like, is 7 seconds really that long though? Not really. So I'm like, to me, it's a win. I really like it. A little bit on the grosser side, but still, like, you know, I mean, it just is like, so when you put this in your body and you go to the bathroom, your muscles in your vagina are going to crush this, and it's going to empty itself. Like, you don't even have to take it out. It's going to empty itself. And then as soon as you finish going to the bathroom, this will go right back into place by itself. Like, you don't have to manually adjust it or anything. So I feel like that's a plus, even though it's gross. That's a plus though, because like you really, like, I don't really like play around with this. It is the best internal menstrual device that I have used, and it's so good that I made a video about it. I don't make videos about menstrual cups and things because they're great, but I'm just like, you know, as Hallie says, the spirit did not move me, but the spirit moved me this time. So I was like, let me make a video because I feel like you guys need to know. You need to know that there's other options available to you. You don't have to use disposable pads and tampons. There's more out there. So anyway, that's all I wanted to come to you guys with. A little bit of women's health. If you don't know about menstrual cups, you don't know about menstrual discs, I would encourage you to Google, YouTube, and learn more because there's a lot to this. But anyway, thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you next time.